I scanned the nearby students walking through the hall, looking for friends with cars. I needed to find someone willing to skip out of school after they took attendance in homeroom and drive me to Hartford, 20 minutes away. I spotted Dixie and suffered a moment of guilt knowing all the money from the profits of the underground newspaper we'd worked on together were stuffed in my coat pocket. Dixie had written the last issue's cover story on a Black Studies group at our school, typed the mimeograph sheets, and endured insults from our journalism teacher right alongside me. It was my creation, though, I rationalized, stuffing down my guilt. All that mattered now was that Dixie was a junior, a grade ahead of me, and had friends with driver's licenses. I cornered her near the wall and spoke quietly. "Dixie, I need a ride to Hartford right away." "I did it. I'm leaving home today and going to California with my sister. I can't live like this anymore, hiding my whole life from my parents." Her eyes grew wide, reminding me of Liza Minnelli, that same elfish dark hair framing her face. "Oh my God, far out. How are you going to get there?" "Anne bought a car yesterday for $50, even though she can't drive. Eddie's going to drive it." I balanced my oversized paper bag and books awkwardly in my arms. I hadn't made it to my locker yet. Dixie cocked her head to the side and frowned. "I thought you and Eddie broke up when that chick from California moved in with him." "We did," I nodded. "It's a long story. I can't tell you now because I have to get out of here or they'll leave without me. Anne wouldn't, but I can't trust Eddie, and he's driving. He tried to get her to move to Boston yesterday, but I convinced her to go to California instead, like we were planning to do in the spring." "What a shit! Your own sister?" Dixie glanced around. "Don't worry, I can help you. Meet me in the girls' lab by the cafeteria right after homeroom." "Thanks, Dixie. I'll never forget this." I turned to hurry off before the bell rang. "Think of me when you're sitting under a palm tree smoking a joint," she called out, and I turned and smiled back at her before darting away. I didn't know the two friends of Dixie's who drove me to the city, but I had seen them around school. I followed them to the student parking lot, not turning around to avoid looking suspicious. Once in the car, I watched out the rear window for anyone who might have noticed us. My jaw ached from clenching it all morning. I wished I still prayed, so I could pray that I made it to Hartford before Eddie and Anne took off. 9 o'clock was his deadline, and it was 8:35. Luckily, Dixie's friend was a fast driver. I tried to focus on the future. Everything after today would be perfect, that much I knew. Without my parents telling me what to do, my problems would be over. If it weren't for them, Eddie would still love me, and we'd still be together. They were ruining my life, just like they'd ruined Anne's when she was my age, and I couldn't stand it anymore. I was screaming inside to break free. Minutes before the deadline, we reached the apartment building where Anne lived with her coworker. I hopped out, bag of clothes in hand. "Thanks for the ride, you guys. Say goodbye to Dixie for me." The driver raised 2 fingers into the peace sign. "Watch out for the man and stay cool." I took the stairs to the second floor 2 at a time and banged on the door. When Anne opened it, she already had her coat on. "You made it." She smiled and threw her arms around me, her blue eyes a bit teary, her long brown hair falling against my face. She was my big sister, and even though I had almost caught up to her, she was still taller than me. She whispered close to my face. "Eddie didn't want to wait. He kept trying to get me to leave without you." Her words caused a dull pain in my chest as I looked past her into the room where Eddie was pacing, his hands buried in the pockets of his navy blue peacoat. I ached at the sight of the familiar brown corduroy bell-bottoms flapping over his square-toed dingo boots, the way he lurched when he walked, obviously impatient. He glanced at me from the corner of his eye as though afraid to look straight at me, his dark chin-length hair obscuring much of his face. He pulled at his mustache self-consciously. "Let's hit the fucking road," he growled, turning to grab his